It's open, yes.
Can everybody please mute the microphone so that we do not have too many back noises? I would like to welcome you very warmly for this 10th Zoom meeting of EURAG. We had already 9 of them, and they were very successful. I think that you enjoyed them. I personally enjoyed all of them, but in particular the last one, where you kindly celebrated my birthday. Thank you very much again. I benefited from that experience over the whole week and even today. I still have good memories of that. Today, we have somebody else who has a birthday event, and that is Rosemarie Kurz from Graz. And she's the one with the big ears you see in the picture. And Rosemarie, first of all, a big hug to you and happy birthday to you. The age of 85 is remarkable. She's in front of me, as you know, and she's still at least as active and as fit as I pretend to be. So we are happy to have her with us. And Dana told me and you that she was already engaged in our organization over the last 40 years. 40 years is more than one generation in the ordinary decision. So the topic of today is very appropriate because she knows so many generations which come after her, and she is in particular dealing with the academic generation, young generation, and has been elected or appointed as the wise person in the Students' Union in Graz. So she advises in solidarity, I can say, the younger academic generation, but not only that, she is active in culture and in all sorts of personal relations, etc. Rosemarie, I give you 2 minutes to tell us something about important things about your life and your present situation. And happy birthday.
Yes. Hello. I'm very happy that you gave me the word for 2 minutes, and I do hope I can make it. I have a paper prepared so that first thing I want to say, the Austrian Student Union is the only youth organization which is among the EURAG organizations. And you all know, or some of you know, that I always fight for the younger generations, not only for the older ones. So, first I want to tell you that Barbara Amreich, my successor of the organization of the Generation Department, invites EURAG to celebrate the 60th Jubilee in 2022 in September. It's only possible in September. Yes, she invites you, and she's going to make it with me together. That's the one thing. And the other thing is that in 1995, Sidorenko was giving us a wonderful saying, which still is in action. And I want to read it to you. And I think it's a good beginning for the discussion. He said, 1995, a society for all is one that adapts its structures and functions as well as its strategies and plans to the needs and abilities of all, so that everyone's potential is available for the benefit of all. A society for all ages would enable generations to care for one another and share the fruits of these investments with one another. The principle of reciprocity and equivalence are key elements there. So have a nice discussion. Thank you for giving me the word.
Thank you very much, Rosemarie, and enjoy your day and enjoy that session. And you will have the floor again later. Dana will make sure that that you can speak again for 3 minutes. Then I only gave you 2. Okay, I would like to welcome all of you. I can't do it individually, but I'm so happy to see many parts of Europe and outside Europe represented. I'm particularly happy to have Razzi among us. He did not enjoy the previous sessions. Very much welcome, and all the other ones. I look at all the pictures and I'm just delighted to see you all. The topic of today is intergenerational solidarity during pandemic. And we need to know, in the first place, when you talk, we need to have a common understanding what we mean by generation and why are generations important. Because we have a new concept, and the new concept is not to define different age brackets in generations or whatever you call them, but to say in the flow as we age. As we age from birth to death. It is a long or shorter period where we relate to each other. And to define very clear generations is a matter of statistics, but it is not a matter of human relations. They go across all that time span of our life as we age. I think that we will learn from each other a lot about initiatives, about thoughts, about all kinds of aspects which are essential for that life living together over the time of personal development, growing, decline, whatever it means, contributing and benefiting and all that. I wish you a very, very interesting and a very happy session. And now I give over to Dana. You will hear me at the end of our conference again briefly. Dana.
So, good morning, everybody. And I am so pleased that we have selected this topic for today, which is actually almost identical with the date of Rosemary's birthday, because Rosemary has been all her professional life involved in intergenerational relationship. So I thought that it just, matched together so well today. And I'm pleased that Rosemary will get more time to talk about her activities. And mostly I am pleased that she confirmed that our 60th anniversary will be celebrated in Graz. Because Graz, all of you who have joined EURAG later, you probably don't realize that the city of Graz played an essential role in the history of EURAG, because the city of Graz was supporting EURAG for full 40 years. And so it is, for us, it is symbolic to go back to Graz. And we have done it already with Dirk when we celebrated our 55th anniversary in Graz. At that time, it was in cooperation with the University of Applied Science. And this time it will be with the University of, I forgot the name, it is after some important Austrian person, Franz, who? Rosemary?
Yeah.
University.
I don't know whom you mean.
What is the university called? The big university?
Oh, the Franz Charles University.
Oh, Franz Charles, I didn't know that. I forgot that. So it will be actually in connection with that university, because it is where Rosemary placed her intergenerational activities for many decades. So now I will go back to my list of participants today, and I will ask if Mira Deni from Albania is with us, because she hoped to make it, and she wanted to make it because Mira is one of the persons who is very much focused on younger generations and tries to involve the younger people into her fight for the rights of the elderly in Albania. Mira, are you with us?
Yes, Dana.
Yeah, good.
Hello, everybody. Happy birthday, dear Rosemary. It's an important day, not only for you, for all members of EURAG, for your presence and your contribution inside EURAG. Dear Dana, our experience during the COVID have been very, very modest, because while the needs of the elderly were extreme. ASAG tried to develop many activities around this topic, so important for every society, because we need engaging widely in order to contribute to the national debate on the purpose and provision, care and support. Since beginning, ASAG 28 October 99, inspired by International Year of Older Persons, our theme, important, our focus has been in intergenerational solidarity. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Oh, why? I have something prepared for us, but about our activity and our program. But oh, I not can see.
We can see it. Yeah.
Can see this?
Yes.
Our okay. Since the beginning, we have been part of Coalition 99, and intergenerational solidarity towards society for all ages is our name of ASAG. After that, during this year, we disseminate the declaration, Quebec Declaration concerning intergenerational solidarity, translated and disseminated in Albania. The European Day of Solidarity between Generations 29 April has been the focus. All this day is celebrated in Albania with all actors in our society. The Nora Malay, Deputy and Minister of Education, has been focused and helped us for all universities to open this debate about intergenerational solidarity. During COVID, we has been very sorry, because our health is very difficult for us, because missing the infrastructure to help elderly in community. So this scale is about this. We need to inform all society, government, and other actors about urgent needs for infrastructure for elderly. As I noticed, the most pressing issue to community is intergenerational solidarity. This is the poster of International European Day of Solidarity. I am here in the university to tell students about intergenerational solidarity theme. We need to shift to a vision. Oh, stop sharing. Stop sharing. we need to shift to a vision of care that puts people and relationship at its heart, a vision that looks beyond the statutory system of care and recognize the wider role of communities. Coronavirus showed that now is the time for a different approach. Thank you very much for you choose this important theme, solidarity between generations. Thank you, EURAG. Thank you, Mr. Ding. Thank you, Dara. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you all.
So, first of all, we have to thank to you, Mera, because you are doing a great job in Albania, and I think that you are moving things forward in your own country very much. And we have seen already in Denmark during our conference when you brought that young girl with you, how close intergenerational solidarity is implemented in Albania. So thank you very much for that. And I am going in my list, you know, alphabetic order. I am going back to Rosemary Kurz because Austria is the next country on my list. So Rosemary, could you tell us more about whatever you know, whatever your work includes in Austria?
Yeah. Hello, my dears. The second time I'm here. Thank you very much. I'm a little bit muddled because it was very strong yesterday. Because our newspaper in Styria brought me and my face on the front page, together with our chancellor, the Sebastian Kurz, because I'm Rosemarie Kurz, and they made a nice thing about initiative, good initiative all the time, and on the bottom, chancellor, justice, whatever. So, and then I had so many WhatsApp and telephones that I'm still kind of like this. There will come a video news to you, which is talking about the crowdfunding, because now in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have printed my life book. And this is not just for the old ones. This will be a book with the insight for all generations. So, and you were mentioning my title, Wise Person. So in the Students' Union, there are at the moment 35,000 students. There are about 2,000 older than 50. There is only one older than 80. That's me. I'm still studying history because I just love education in all its happenings. And they made me to vice person because I always was fighting for all, not just for the older students, that they get everything what they have, but even for the young ones. So I give two examples. One is Mandi Academy. In 2000, our Minister of Education cut down the possibility that the older ones can study without paying a fee. And so I lost 50% of all my senior students. They just went out of our Students' Union. Yeah. And so I made Monday Academy. So every Monday there is a lecture given from one of our scientists without money, and those who have been cut out, and those who are now interested without paying for science, they are invited on Monday Academy to listen. And what is very happy, the university took it over in 2004. So my whatever is still running. The second, what is still running, I made for the young ones. We had for our university no direct connection, public connection, no bus, no tram, nothing. And so I made with my daughter 3 years long, every year, a happening called The University is Blooming. And the exact answer was a bus. And this bus 31 is now still running till the front of the university. When you come next year, then you will take this bus and then you can say, hooray, hooray, Rosary Kurz was intending this bus. So these are my sayings, and I think it's so important that we make love, that we say happiness. It's not just everything doing, oh yes, you're getting old, getting older and older, and we need, and we need, and we need. No, we give and we have fun, as long as it's possible. Being so old as I am, I know what's the end. Yes, but I don't have to celebrate it. Goodbye, goodbye.
Thank you, Rosemary. So we are looking forward to being in Graz next year. And now on my list is the Czech Republic. Miloš originally registered for today's Zoom meeting, but he apologized last night that he had something very important because of his housing, which is an unhappy process. They have to pay for the third time for their houses because of some fraud. So I understood that it was very important. So it is my turn actually now. And I wanted to tell you that I have founded in 1993 the Intergenerational University of Free Time in Prague. And in 2004, the experimental university for grandparents and grandchildren, which is a nice example of intergenerational education. So it is from the professional point of view. And now I would like to share with you some private experience, which was quite recent. Some of you know that I broke my ribs in February, 2 ribs, because of the car accident. And I was unable to take care of myself because it was in such a pitiful condition. But my granddaughter is studying architecture, moved in and stayed with me for 2 weeks to help me to somehow to survive that period. And what I am doing for her is that she is not so, positive about the level of her English. So every time when she has an English lesson at school, and because of the distance studies, it is possible. So we are usually sitting together, or at least from distance, I am helping her with her English class. So it is, you can see that there is a very close intergenerational cooperation when we are in a need. She is in need with her English. I was in need with my, medical problems. So it means that it is what we need, that all the generations are somehow willing to in, somehow cooperate, help to each other when the others are in a need. And I think that it is what we should stress upon, that we are not fighting only for rights of the elderly. We are just fighting for this solidarity, that all the generations would be willing to help each other if it's needed. And it should be like a motto in the society. Solidarity is the necessity, because without that, we just can't simply survive. So it is my, these are my thoughts, and I am moving on my list to Denmark, and this time Peter was not registered because he's sitting next to me, and I will just move and give him the floor and the screen.
Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. It's a very special occasion because I am now not in Denmark, but in the Czech Republic. And it is a privilege and also a sign that things are beginning to improve. The fact that I'm able to travel, not to say that it is very easy, but the travel regulations are about to be lifted. And from Denmark anyway, it is expected that from June, everybody can go to Denmark and no restrictions from Denmark. I had to leave Denmark. I had no special restrictions because I've had the 2 vaccines. So it is okay, but the pandemic situation in Denmark is so that we have not been seriously struck by problems. Not to say that we have not had problems, but right now we benefit from the fact that we can open earlier than most other countries because we have had a very strict discipline on following the rules that have been provided. And it means it's also a good proof of this intergenerational cooperation because the youth in Denmark has really suffered from the restrictions, but they have and mainly followed the restrictions and by that worked so that we can open up in Denmark. And that is really a good sign. Otherwise, I will give the word to Paul Anker, who will give his angle on the situation in Denmark. So, thank you.
So, Paul Anker, are you with us? Paul Anker from Denmark, we can't see. Yeah, he he promised to be with us. So, all right, so we have to move on. And now we are coming to Estonia, Finland. We are having Siri with us.
Yes,
Siri?
hello.
Yeah, the floor is yours. Okay.
Hello to everybody. Happy birthday, Rosemary, and also Dirk. Sorry I missed last time your meeting. And actually, about intergenerational solidarity, I would like to share 2 different stories and experiences in pandemic time. First of all, in Estonia, there has been published a guide about the experiences of offering the telephone company during the pandemic time. So the guide is meant for the volunteer, teaches them how to structure of meaningful conversation, but also provides content and topics for the conversation. The volunteer is a communication partner, not a therapist. And in their communication with the elderly, the main emphasis are listening and speaking. To keep company by telephone, this is not just about keeping in touch with a person or making a control call, just how are you, but with a certain methodology and consistently elevate a person's feeling of loneliness and improve their quality of life. One example of this guidebook. Well, just before the pandemic started, an older lady went to live into care home. Soon the pandemic hit and the care home did close for visitors. The old lady got depressed. One of the volunteer staff members found out that the lady's main contact person was a grandchild with her 13-year-old daughter. The volunteer studied educational gerontology at university, and she knew the potential of intergenerational contacts and how to organize them professionally. So she took it upon herself to arrange speeches to the older lady, her granddaughter, and her 13-year-old great-granddaughter via Skype, which would be a joy for all the family. Volunteer directed the older lady and her great-granddaughter to talk about school during their first speech. The lady recalled how old school was in her time. So thanks to these meaningful Skype meetings, the great-grandchild changed the lady's opinion about the caring home. The old lady blossomed. She started to discuss with other residents in the care home, get depression past. Of course, she had difficult times when she missed her home, garden, close ones, but these feelings were not overwhelming anymore. We also have Tiina Tambaum in Estonia, who had made different experiences and studies about intergenerational work in Estonia. Unfortunately, she's not here right now, so yeah, she has a lot of experiences on this one. And the second experience is from Finland on how to intergenerational solidarity impacts elderly migrants during pandemic time. Last year, when the pandemic and isolation did start, in Finland, we made a report, how are we doing, about older migrants, their thoughts, how they get information, and how informal the information was for them. And now, after a year, in cooperation with 6 companies, we decided to find out the foreign language speaking older people's thoughts about corona vaccinations. Similarly, as in spring 2020, the issue was approached together with the elderly participating in the activities of the organizations to clarify the situation. And now we have published a report, Corona Vaccinations Divide Opinions Amongst Older Migrants in Finland. Nearly half wants a vaccination, but many still have doubts. I also sent this report to Dana, and I couldn't find it on the EURAG website. If anybody is interested, please ask me, I can send you the link. Many respondents wanted more information on the safety and benefits of the vaccine to make a decision. More than half of the respondents survey feel that they have not received enough information how their resistance district organizes vaccination. Besides, it was considered necessary that the administration related to vaccination be possible in their mother tongue. The hesitant answers were mostly given by those language groups that are considering different vaccine manufacturers. For example, Russian-speaking seniors would like to receive Sputnik V. Chinese-speaking speakers tend to appear only product made in their own country. And in addition to the desire, choose their vaccine by themselves. Among the other questions, we find out that the communication with younger relatives has a very big impact on the behavior of the elderly migrants. For example, if the family decided that the vaccine is not safe for the elderly, they refused to take the vaccination. So that was it, quickly.
Thank you so much, Siri. I sent your material to Monique. I will ask what happened to it, because I expected to have it on the website, and we are also getting more material from Hungary. Gabor will be talking about it. So, all right, thank you so much about for your report about situation in Estonia and Finland. And we are moving to France. So we have Monique or Francois with Monique should be with us, but maybe she has some. I know that. Yeah,
okay.
Monique is here.
I'm coming back. Françoise is not there. In fact, she has also a good reason, because her father just turned 99 years old. And she's typically in the intergenerational communication, because she's taking care of her father. And I see it's a very big problem, because he's falling. I mean, the typical case, he's falling at night and he doesn't want to go to the hospital for sure. He doesn't want to have a bed with barriers and so on. So she has a big headache. Anyhow, with that. Yeah, about intergenerational communication, what I can say that we during this COVID period, for me, it was not so good, and not only for me. I did not see my grandchildren, not the ones who are far away, of course, because of evident reasons. We cannot fly out of France, but even the one within Paris, because there was always a fear to catch the virus. So, and also because, in fact, she didn't go to school, and my son could not work, so he kept her. But this was not the reason. The reason was that I was fearing to catch the virus. So I did not see her. And I would say that I feel that the intergenerational communication now is not very strong. I mean, it's a pity. But so I tried also to make Zoom meetings with the kids who are between 7 and 12. I mean, there are 3 of them, for instance, who are, the little one cannot do it, but we did it. It's not the same, of course, specifically with children, because you cannot talk. I mean, you cannot just talk. You have to improvise games. And I did that, but it takes a lot of time to organize games online for different places together. I mean, it's a headache, and it does not exist. It would be good if it exists, to have games you can play on Zoom with kids on distance and with different places. Let's say 3, 4 places, different places. Also, it's a technical problem. So of course it's not so easy. It will hopefully change. The only thing we did begin is make more telephone, more Skype, even emails. They began. That's a good point. In fact, the one who is 10 years old or even 8 years old, they began to write emails. That's good. I mean, they have to write. It's a good exercise. Not so funny, but okay. But okay, besides that, in normal times, in my organization, we organize intergenerational games once a year at least. And another time, once a year, we organize, how do you call that? We have a tablet, and we have a different kind of quiz and we go around the city, and we have the quiz, and the quiz tells you to go here and here and here. It's a kind of intergenerational game, doesn't matter. And people like it, but we do it twice a year, in fact, yeah. Not much more, because it's a lot of work to prepare. And yeah, that's all. But I hope, I think the intergenerational communication suffered quite a lot during the COVID. Yeah, nothing to do. That's it. Okay, so I don't see Moira. I don't know if she said something. I don't
She
see
didn't
her on
write
the
it.
list.
No, she
and I know
didn't
that I know
for
that
today.
Dana is not there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you, Monique.
Bye-bye.
And we are moving to G, Germany. Dirk, it is your turn.
Well, the situation in Germany, I can tell about Hamburg. I don't know how it is in other parts of Germany. Everything is closed. All centers are closed. Nothing is directly, no project is working at the moment, but we try to be in contact with all the volunteers in Hamburg, for instance, by telephone and by Zoom. And the persons who are in the groups together to motivate them to be in contact with another by telephone. The most elderly people are not able to work with Zoom and these things, but contacts are there. There are many contacts. So that is our situation at the moment. We hope that the centers for elderly people, the meeting centers and the groups, will be opened again in maybe 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So it is, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
That's our situation at the moment. So what we experience is that more than it has been before, the elderly people try to be in contact with another. So that may be a good thing for the future. It's our situation.
So thank you, Christian, for being with us, because I didn't have you on my list, so I went directly to Dirk. So thank you for being with us today. It is a nice surprise. And it is the same with my students in the Center of Lifelong Learning. They are desperately waiting for, when we reopen, but it will not happen until the beginning of October in Prague, when I can open, because now the summer vacation is approaching. So Dirk, because we reach G, so do you want to tell us more about Germany and intergenerational solidarity?
I would not like to take too much time, but we have an interesting debate which under the headline, please leave some vaccines for the younger ones. Don't give it all to the older ones, even though it is very much justified, because the older ones are more at risk, what the scientific community told us at the beginning. But in the meantime, we know that the young ones are also very much at risk. We thought at the beginning that they are better protected, perhaps a little bit. But it is in fact a discussion about the fairness in society. I think that finally that discussion about fairness in society must concentrate even more on those who have and the don't haves. That means that the poorer ones, even socially poor, are more neglected than those who are well off. We need a debate in that, and that goes also for the older generation. They're privileged ones and less privileged ones through the generations, but also in the different age brackets. That's all I want to say right now. Perhaps we can discuss these issues later after the summer break, because they are very, very interesting and very important issues about what kind of solidarity are we talking about, and who are the most neglected in our society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dirk. It does correspond with what I already said in advance, that we have to help to those in need. So we are moving to H, and it is Hungary. So, Gabor, I know that you are with us. I have seen you. Yes, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dana. Yes, I am here. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the floor, Dana. Also, thanks for referring to something I would like to share with you at the end of my short speech, sort of. But first of all, let me congratulate to Rosemary if you are here with us. Rosemary, can you hear me? No, I can.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sure.
Okay, Rosemary.
Hear you.
Okay. My name is Gabor, and I live in your neighboring country, Hungary. So welcome and happy birthday from Budapest. Also, there is something which binds our cities, because Budapest will hopefully be the place of the next conference in September. Hopefully, that will be the end of the epidemic, and we are very much expecting it. And then you come the next year, so we are really have lots of common. So happy birthday once more. And really hope we are very optimistic about the Budapest conference now, everything opening up, and it seems to us that the Pope is visiting Budapest at the beginning of September. And if the Pope will be able to come to Budapest, where there will be hundreds of thousands of people gathering on the streets and squares in Budapest, definitely it will be okay for the EURAG conference. So it's just a way of thinking about how to hope that we are really meeting in September. But let's go back to the topic of the day, solidarity. Of course, this used to be an absolutely normal way of living together, youngers and elderly people. It became an issue when people started to live apart from each other in the last several decades. And it became a real issue during this epidemic. I tried to structure this problem into three parts. Probably the most dramatic consequence was between the generation in a family, because just like in every country, grandparents and grandchildren and children could not see each other for a year if they were not living together. So the only way of solidarity, sort of, was that they had to call each other or to use Zoom or telephone or computer, so electricity and digital technology. And they begin to meet again now as vaccination is going on. The second type of solidarity was the spontaneous solidarity, like in big houses where neighbors were knocking at the door of elderly people and asked them, can I help you? Can I bring your food from the shopping center? Or can I just ask sometimes, how are you? And this happened also where I live. And I heard from many people that it was a very nice, spontaneous way of solidarity. And people expressed how happy they were, that they never knew who was the neighbor, and then knocked at the door and they got acquainted with each other. The third type is an organized way of solidarity. I think it's again not a Hungarian typical thing. Every local government organized a way of solidarity where partly the volunteers of locality, they offer their service for the local government, and they printed a piece of paper, they put it in the houses, giving a number, a telephone number or an email address, and those who needed help, they could call the local government, and they organized a way how to bring food or to buy the medicine for them, or to go to the post office and to send the letters, and so on and so on. So the normal everyday life was based on this organized solidarity, organized by the local government. Of course, it was a special problem for those who were living or who are living in the home for the elderly. It was completely forbidden to visit homes. So the solidarity was again extremely difficult part of life. Families could not go to see their beloved, and again, those who were working in the homes, they tried to organize contact between people living there and the family. And now there is a very special problem. We go into the post-COVID period when, of course, new dramas are emerging. Thousands of people lost their beloved. And now I just would like to tell you 3 issues about this. A foundation for the orphans of the COVID was established by the Hungarian president, actually, and people can give money to this foundation to help those who lost their parents, grandparents, or the parents and grandparents lost, luckily not too many, but some lost their children or grandchildren. And our organization is going to set up a service, a kind of service, grandmothers and grandfathers for the orphans, for those children or grandchildren who lost during the epidemic their parents or grandparents, and we try to help them. This is, of course, a sort of artificial grandmother or grandfather, but still there might be a good contact among children and grandparents. And here I come to the point Dana referred to. Our association for the clubs and pensioners at national and Budapest level, we produced a law for the elderly around intergeneration solidarity, and also it's a new societal political issue. And last time when I mentioned this, some of you showed interest about this text. So I asked the permission of the association, and now it is public. It's about a 45 long page, so it is not translated into any other language. It's Hungarian, but if you are interested, I already sent it to Dana. So either with your kind help, Dana, or I can send it to if you send me a letter. This Hungarian text is available. Of course, I understand the language is an issue, but the Google can make a quick translation, which is relatively good level. I tried it, and probably I'm happy to send it. And it can be also on the EURAG through Monique on the EURAG homepage. Maybe it can be later translated into other languages. And my last words would be would go to Razi, to Israel, in the name of the international solidarity, not intergenerational solidarity, as we all know that there is a war going on in Israel, and I hope everybody would join saying this. We hope that peace will come back to Israel again very soon, and we are with all of the members, people living in Israel, and especially with you, Razi. Hope peace will come back soon. So that's all what I wanted to say. Thank you for the floor.
Thank you, Gabor. It is amazing, that that foundation for the orphans and providing new grandparents for them. So thank you so much for your report. And I have to go back to France because I got through chat a message from Moira that she can be that she was late, first of all, she apologized, and then she has to leave because she is traveling in 15 minutes. So I am going back to France, and then I am going also back to Denmark because there is a message from Paul Anker Andersen. So first, Moira from Paris, Pass It On Network. Moira, it is the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed, Donna. Good morning to everybody, and happy birthday to Rosemary. That's wonderful. Thank you. Donna, just very briefly, 2 reflections on this intergenerational thing and COVID. The first one is that the Pass It On Network has been very fortunate to benefit from the effects of COVID through the fact that we managed to have an intern who couldn't do a physical intern because of COVID. So she did an intern with the Pass It On Network, and she was an absolutely wonderful young person. And she helped us to get our LinkedIn group page set up on LinkedIn. But why I'm mentioning this is because this young woman's training at the moment, and she's going off to university in September to complete and further her training, is all on youth development. But the fact that she had exposure to our liaisons throughout the world, and Dana was included, and I think, lots of you, and Anita was included, and Siri was included, absolutely broadened this young woman's whole perspective about aging. And she's now gone away with a life course perspective. And she's now also decided to include gerontology in her next training. So I think this was a very, very beneficial exercise, not only for ourselves, but for the whole aging thing. If every young person can get involved in that way and understand the whole life course, it would really be ideal. So that was a very nice side effect for us, positive side effect. And then I just wanted to mention the fact that Jan Hively, who is our co-founder, was called on by the New York Committee on Aging at the United Nations to present the older people's point of view at a special meeting that they had about ageism, and presented by 2 young people. The one was the United Nations woman, a young woman who presents youth at the United Nations, and the other one was the young person who was the chairman of the major group. So it was just very interesting to get these cross points of view. And I think more and more this whole intergenerational thing is just grabbing the imaginations of everybody. And I simply wanted to end off by saying that in our own organization and with the Old Up organization, there's just such an interest in the whole fact that there are different stages and ages in aging. So the other day I'm sitting in a Zoom call with the Pass It On Network, and I've got Jan Hively, who's our co-founder, myself, and then a young woman called Kathy Bailey. And we suddenly realized, the 3 of us, that there were 15 years between each one of us. So Kathy's going 60, I'm going 75, and Jan's going 90. And this is also intergenerational. And I think it's so important. And also we are very often closer to the generation that's just below us and the generation that's just above us. And if we could just have that human chain throughout life, it would also be a great thing to promote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moira. I have to agree. My students in the Center of Lifelong Learning, they are between 60 and 90, and all of them feel young. So, and now I would like to go back to Denmark because Paul Anker wants to send us his message. So.
Yes, just briefly, I talked to Paul Anker, who apologizes for not being able to attend this meeting. Just before the meeting here started, he was asked to attend a very important meeting, his own organization, Global Seniors. So he looks forward to be present at the next meeting. And then I want to stress what he would have said, that in Denmark and most of European countries, it is expected that all inhabitants will be vaccinated in July, at the very latest in August, which makes it easier. So, I will also stress the fact that what Dick said is so important to see that every generation has a problem with this pandemic, and we don't know all the consequences. Well, we know that old people are more likely to have serious consequences, but maybe young people also have that risk. So it is important to show solidarity, and it is also important that if we look upon it in the world scale, that the poor countries in the world are really suffering. So there's a lot to focus on. Maybe the words from the Biden, the American president, that you had to skip from the time being the patent rules and just have produced as many vaccines as possible. But we'll go back to the list.
All right, so thank you for the message from Denmark. And now I am moving to I. We have 3 countries from I among our members in EURAG, and I will strictly rely on the alphabetic order. So it means the Ireland, and May is the very first who is getting the floor. May, welcome our meeting.
Good morning, everybody, and a very happy birthday to Rosemary. I'm not too far behind you, Rosemary. So my birthday is not in December, but anyway. And Dirk, I apologize, I wasn't able to attend the meeting, so belated greetings to you as well. So our COVID situation is improving dramatically here, which is absolutely wonderful. We're actually allowed out of prison, which is great. I'm back playing my golf. We're allowed to play our sports, and the hairdressers all opened last Monday, which was very important to people, and the beauticians. And next week, the stores are going to open. Now, I really feel I don't want to buy anything, but I just want to go into a store and walk around and see people. And, you know, things are going very well here, but unfortunately this morning, there was a major cyber attack on all our hospitals. So I don't know how it's progressing because I've turned the news off, but that's a very sad thing that has happened. But we have a group here in Ireland called Corla Nano, which in English is the core of young people. And we have an intergenerational meeting with these I call them children, but they don't like it. They're teenagers or whatever. So it's very interesting to hear, because we were having an election the other year for a president, and our president is 80. And I thought, you know, they wouldn't be interested in him at all, but they all thought he was wonderful. So I was amazed at that. I thought they thought we were all geriatrics, but not at all. But at the moment we have a program going, and it's a time capsule where a younger person does a Zoom call with an older person, and this is all put into a time capsule for future generations to have a look at, which I think is a very interesting thing to do. And the guy who's running this is, I'm next, I think, to talk to some younger person who'll probably think I'm an antique, but there you go. I have grandchildren as well. Now my grandchildren are a lot older than Monique's. My eldest granddaughter is 25, and the next one is 19 at university doing law. And of course, she's not in the university, she's at home doing everything on Zoom, including her exams. And then the younger one, Elsa, is 16. And they really think I am an antique. And I will tell you a funny story. At Christmas, my daughter had to, there was COVID in the hospital, so she had to come home and, isolate. And she asked me to take the 2 ladies shopping. So we went shopping anyway, and they said, May, we have to buy you a Christmas present. And I said, okay, that's fine. I said, how much do you want to spend? Oh, they said, we've no money. Will you just get it and we'll give you the money later? So anyway, I went into the store, I bought something and I came out, and they were absolutely horror struck at what I bought. I bought a pair of leather trousers. I think they thought, oh my God, where is that woman coming from? So, you know, they think I'm a nut job now, to be honest. And, you know, they're funny. But it is great to communicate with younger people because they have such great interests. Now, I'm going on holidays. We have to stay in Ireland on holidays, and I don't like that because it does nothing, only rain here. So my daughter has rented a house in Kerry, where it's always raining anyway, and she's bringing the two girls and two of their friends, and my husband doesn't want to go at all. He thinks this is going to be horrific. There's going to be loud music and these blooming kids will be arguing about everything and whatever. But anyway, look, it's going to be an experience, and I might tell you about it when I come back, if I ever get back. But anyway, look, everything is improving around here, but there are some people around who are very frightened of coming out. And I find that very sad. I mean, my attitude to COVID was, well, if you get it and you have to die, so be it. You know, there's nothing you can do about it if it happens. And, you know, a person said to me the other day, which I thought was a funny example. She said, there's an awful lot of worry about younger people. But what people don't realize is they have the whole of their lives ahead of them, whereas we have very little time left. So, you know, we need to look after sort of both generations, I suppose. But anyway, since I joined EURAG, I have to say, Dana, you have been so nice to me, and so has Money, and I'm really enjoying it. And I mean, I don't know about the memory training now. That exercise has me nearly hysterical. But anyway, I'll sort of cope with it if I can. And one thing that has made my life very bearable during COVID is I bought my husband a dog who turned out to be a little small fellow, and now he's the size of a Shetland pony because he's a Labrador. And he now takes me for walks. I don't take him. I'm running down the town with the dog, and people are, and I must say, everyone is speaking to me now, but I hope they still speak after COVID finishes. They're all saying, hello, May, and I'm running with the dog, and the dog is running like hell. But look, life is for living, folks. Let's just get on with it. And, you know, hopefully the younger generation will enjoy life as much as we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, May, for your very frank, expressions of your feelings. We also feel in EURAG that thank you as an Irish member of EURAG, that it enriched our horizons, and for us it is so important to learn what is going on in other countries, and we are enriching each other these experiences. And what this pandemic time was good for, thanks to Monique, that we started with these online meetings, and we are able to see each other, talk to each other, to express what we feel. And it wouldn't be possible. It would probably never happen without pandemic, because we must not start with that. So thank you so much. I have to correct myself. I said that we have 3 countries in EURAG from we have 4. We have also Iceland, but Gisli is not with us today. But the next country from is Israel. And I am so pleased that Razi is with us today, because he has missed several meetings and we started to worry about his health very much. So Razi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dana. I hope you hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
And I must tell you that if I leave the meeting abruptly, the meaning is that I am under attack of missiles, because every day Tel Aviv and the area is covered by missiles. So you have to forgive me. The second thing is, thank you very much, Gabor, for your kind words. I appreciate it. And the third thing is that I would like to really say to Rosemary, welcome to the club. I have celebrated 85 years 2 months ago.
Hi.
So I know what you mean by
Thanks very much. Very nice. Yes.
Dirk, we are going to vaccinate. We are going to vaccinate next week kids from 12 years up to 16. So this will cover from 12 years and not all the population. These are only the beginning of my thoughts about what happened in Israel. So if you say communication starts with language. Language we have to study from the beginning. We have to learn a new language, a language of technology, a language of social networks, and we are conducting courses done by young people to old people for reducing the technical generation. The meaning is we are studying the computer, we are studying the social media, we are studying the wise telephone, wise cellulars. We are studying a Zoom. There are many old people that are detached or they're left behind to learn and study the new communication. Secondly, we have to identify the needs of the old population. And the needs were increasing of violation, increasing of loneliness, increasing of less food security, diminished of working chances, ageism, and sometimes even total neglection. And these are the needs. So how can we bridge the needs with our possibilities? We are going to the young people, and the young people are joining us by going house to house, apartment, teams, to see what are the real needs. And the needs are many. Basically, we are organizing food packages, and the food packages are delivered to the door of the old population. We are trying to see if there is enough money for electricity. Sometimes we even have paying money for electricity for old people. The problem was the old people that we are not finding. I remember 3 cases that we have found dead old people that died without anybody notice them. in their apartment. So today it's not possible because we are sending team by team to houses to locate the old people that needs any assistance. And we match old people to old people and young people to old people to be with them, to talk with them. Because the feeling of loneliness is a feeling of death. And if you talk to people, if you come to people, this is the communication. This is the intergenerational. Because young people are coming to old people to sit with them and just talk with them. And we are doing it. We cannot cover the whole country. We have problem with religious people that lived in 10 people or 12 people in small rooms, in small apartments. We have the Arabs people, the population that lived in the same, and some of them, many of them, are against vaccination. And it's important to try and convince them to vaccinate because they have ideological reaction about vaccination. I didn't see such a phenomena in all my life, and I live 25 years old, as I told you before. We have problems of currency. The meaning is we have bad relations with the banks. The banks are becoming less and less branches of banks and less human banks. The banks are returning to monsters, to technical monsters. I don't have anything against progress, but we have to find how to operate our money, how to get money. And not once and not twice, we are matching young people from youth organizations to accompany old people in order to go together to banks to draw money, to put money, or to use any other bank's activities that the old people cannot operate because he doesn't know how. On the whole, things are starting to look better because we have harnessed or stopped the COVID. Actually, we are now having 500 cases of COVID, 1,000, but on the whole, we stopped the COVID. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Razi, for sharing with us all these hot issues from Israel. The hottest one of all of them is the situation, war situation, actually, the present in the present days, and we wish you that the situation would calm down and that you would gain on both sides, that civilians could feel safe in their own homes. So thank you for being with us. And now I am coming to Italy. Dario Bracco. Dario, the floor is yours.
We are searching on this matter since the beginning of the pandemic. And the matter is, I just to point at different situation we are looking for, but it's very, very big, the argument, and it needs much more time. So quickly, the question is, which generation should take care of the modern senior? Because we are not as the past senior. We are modern, we are culturalized, we are able to play with Zoom, etc. Which kind of, because we collect a lot of kind of new generation, depend of the birth date. So we mostly consider senior also the baby boomers, so born from 44 to 64. But the new generation starts for 65 to 79, and it is called X generation or generation mix. This is international name established for the researcher. Then we have the birth to 80 to 94. It's millennial. Now it's confused. This millennials is considered old, but it's very limited date of birth. And it's also called Epsilon generation or I generation. This is America and Europe. Then we have the rest is the 95 to 2015. It's generation Z. So the question is, which generation should take care of us? This is what we are looking for. But we discover another generation. It's a terrible generation. This is the NEET. NEET means not in education, employment, or training. So this is a people that is living without engagement. And this is in Italy are the 29% of birth from of age from 20 to 34. Not education, not study, not employment, not training, nothing to do. A completely charged to the family. So if we consider that this is so much, so big a problem that we engage the Society of Gerontology and two universities to collect us, because we discovered this during our normal research after the pandemia. Pandemia cut the number of seniors, because in Italy we consider that died 40,000 people aged over 65. So the figure of the aged people is moving. What? I don't know, because it's not finished, the pandemic. So I suggest to maintain fresh this argument, and I engage myself to report you what we are doing, because what we are doing is not only restrict to Italy, but we are working with the American Society of Aging, some Institute of Gerontology, and two universities, the sociality. We are now trying to produce the cluster and then investigate in each cluster to discover which kind of generation we are talking about, we would talking about. We have nothing else for today.
So, Dario, thank you so much. What is coming immediately into my mind that that would be so useful to use that, silver economy, like the power, financial power of the elderly, to give, to shift it to those young unemployed people. They could be employed in the field, in the care of elderly, and earn some money, and that it would be useful for both sides. So thank you very much for your contribution. And now we are moving to L, and the floor goes to Latvia. Latvia.
Hello to everybody. I should apologize for the inscription on my screen. My computer was out of order and I had to replace it. Sorry. So, and our best greetings to Rosemary Kurtz with her 85th anniversary. She looks great, and her grandchild
for being with us. That was some strong background noise that made it quite difficult to understand. So thank you for sharing with us the situation in Latvia. And now we are coming to Lithuania. Lithuania, Rita is with us. Rita, you have, yeah.
Sorry. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Rosemary, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All the best.
Look at her.
I try to be very, very simple and short. We all know we have intergenerational problem, and it's hard to solve it because it comes from the family. If people are alienated in the family, they are in the society too. There are a lot of ways to show solidarity between the generations, and we do that. But central thing is a relationship human to human. We have a relationship young to old, but it builds a lot of fences and burdens among people. We are old in our body and in our reasoning, but young in our heart. So we need to try to change the situation. We need to be first to make a step into the direction of the young generation and try to see the generation through the glasses of our heart. In other words, to start relationship human to human, not this old to young one. In that way, many problems, especially personal, which are very important, will be solved by itself, because the human heart needs another human heart. Easy to say and hard to do. But we need to try this first step because young people are in the life flow and see things from another perspective. They don't need us as old people. They need to care for and to pay for. They need us as a human being who understands them, supports them, and simply loves them so as they are. Only then they start to work with us and change their opinion about us. So we all can change the society. It's long-term thing, but it's worth to try. So that are my thoughts about the problem.
Thank you so much. So it is the basis of that intergenerational solidarity, that we are not thinking only about ourselves, but also about the others. And we are trying to do our best, not only for ourselves, but also for the others. It is the only way how the society can work out. So now we are coming to Macedonia. Olga, the floor is yours.
Dear Rosemary, where is granddaughter? All the best for you in the future with 2 elephants I have.
Oh, wonderful.
You know, this is your story.
For me?
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Mutual solidarity and love in the elephants communities is wonderful example for cultivate in human society. Thank you for this in your biography I read last night. Razi, where are you? Hope for peace and justice in Israel and in Palestine. I know how is this. Concerning all generation solidarity, we have this vaccination with different vaccine, and my husband and me, we have this Sputnik passport now, and maybe ready to go to see once this with Trans-Siberian train from Moscow to Peking. Maybe we hope to do this in the near future. But what I have done concerning intergenerational relation, because this is my professional subject in the university and doing with different generations all my life. In this Corona time, all generations are hungry for friends, contacts, and starving for information. And for this purpose, young and aging people, we use digital technology, but connected with digitalization of all generations, personally and professionally, I am preoccupied with the solution of the problem, how to get out hijacked brain back from the irresistible digital gadgets. And I will tell you, I am now in diet of misusing in obsession 3 of them in the same time, all day, even in the night. Good luck for our liberation from this problem, my friend. The other thing I would like to tell is that I have a chance and pleasure to have apartment in a building near the river on the floor above the kindergarten. My balcony has first place contact with children and teachers when they are playing in the nice garden of this my kindergarten. This year, I remembered teachers, normally from my balcony, that it is good moment in this Corona time to play some of the traditional games we collected as a project in between OMEP, Organisation Mondiale pour l'Éducation Préscolaire, World Organization for Preschool Education. 10 years we collected so nice games and traditional games and toys. And the teachers accepted, and now I enjoy to look and listen for the children and teachers who are playing here in the garden, this collection from this time. In the same time, I asked the other teachers for the other kindergartens to do the same. And what I feel now is that when a butterfly flips with its wings in my garden here, all the world gets waved up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Olga. It is, you know, anticipation of the bright future. And it is what, look, it looks very much like that. It is now coming. So we are moving to Poland. Gazina, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Dana. Nice to see you all today, and all the best also to Graz. All the best to Rosemary. So, to the point, I would like to say something more about solidarity. Dana has told about necessity of solidarity, and this is true. Dirk told about fairness and everything. So solidarity, fairness, and this necessity is important. And I would like to add also responsibility. This is also sometimes to find in different documents. This is solidarity and responsibility, and all of this should be put in the context of intergenerational relations, because this everything what you all have told is about relations, is actually also about what Razil told, communication, about language. So this is so important to preserve this natural relations between different generations, and also this natural solidarity. Solidarity as human beings, so in between among all persons, and it is only possible when we preserve this natural attitudes, not through the policies frameworks, or not only, but we have to develop different kind of thinking about relations, about solidarity, about being together, and this is necessary to bring generations together, because we only can learn each other, about each other, to understand some ways of thinking and being in the world when we meet. So this is also something what we try to do in our association, because this is an association which is actually concentrated on the intergenerational relations. And in the pandemic, I think that in each country we have observed a kind of mobilization of the solidarity, and it has happened. It was actually the positive aspect, because, for example, in Poland, we had a lot of initiatives of different groups, organizations on different levels, governmental, local, community levels, organizations of young persons who wanted to support older adults in different way, and that happened, and that was really good organized and good, and this experience was very, very good. But also, we can't forget about this negative aspects. Moira has mentioned this ageist stereotypes, bias, which were also present in the media, in the social space, different very, very negative and actually sad comments, which were coming from younger persons and were connected with older people. So this is everything very complicated and difficult, and we have to start in this context of lifelong and biography context, and start with young children who will be meeting older persons in the kindergartens, at schools. We tried to do that in our association. We had fantastic projects, intergenerational learning project. We were coming to the schools, the older persons from our association were sitting together at the school during the lessons, but they were not the regular lesson, but just regular lessons, but just common discussions about different problems, about family, about the past, the history of the city, and that was learning together, not only giving some pictures from the past to the younger generation, but just talking together, discussing this together. So this intergenerational solidarity is actually the challenge for the whole society. And this is developing relations between generations and bringing them together. We are talking in gerontology about learning to get older, learning to become older, and learning about getting older. And this is only possible through building relations, through building common goals, observing and better understanding each other, not separate generations from each other, but just build these opportunities to learn together, to learn each other, also to develop the solutions for the futures together, and to learn about differences between us, to learn to understand these differences, to accept them. And when we are talking about digital world, it is also important to understand that this is at the moment also the world of young persons. They are growing up in this world, and we have to learn this world. We have to try to be together with them also there. But I know also from this project at schools that children, young people need this personal contact, this personal discussions, this feeling to be also together. And this digital world is only a part of life, and we should create some alternative for them, some different opportunity to be together. So that's why it is, in my opinion, the only way to think about solidarity through creating natural opportunities to be together, not separate generations, but to bring them together. Thank you.
Thank you, Grazina. So it is, it is a smart word from a gerontologist. So if I conclude, so it is the necessity, then the responsibility, the fairness, and I would add one more aspect: mutual respect to each other. So which I consider very important for the intergenerational solidarity. And now I am moving to Slovakia. Aneta Zubekova is getting the floor.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
First of all, allow me to congratulate to Rosemary. Happy birthday, Rosemary. What is the most appreciable on you is your enthusiasm. Please stay the same.
Yes, I tried.
That's my first remark. And then back to the topic. As a volunteer in this group, I organize a small research between seniors living around me, what they are feeling as a solidarity between generations during pandemic period, and there are my results. I evaluate the result of this research. I evaluate the seniors into 3 groups. The first one is working seniors. working seniors use the model of intergenerational solidarity mostly oriented on digital skills of younger persons. And these digital skills is either to applying them on vaccination term or explain them or describe them internet banking or download some application or instruction to the mobile on or computer, and they use this connection very frequently. The second group is seniors already not working, but with such a mobility, having a car or having opportunity to use the car of somebody, then their solidarity is focused on from the younger generation to bring their shoppings or bring the medicine through the electronic recipe or some phone contacts or vaccination application, something like that, or partly they use to care for themselves. Third group is not working seniors and without mobility. This is the biggest assistance of younger generation for them. First one is accompanying them to the health treatment, either using their own car or organize the ambulance car. Then second field is cleaning the flat. The younger generation comes there and help them. Shopping, medicine, information, also phone contacts and vaccination, all what is necessary. I don't know, organize some small family visit or something like that. Also in Slovakia, we have a lot of NGOs organized on a local level, some activity where volunteers are phoning with the seniors and eliminate their feeling of isolation. And one remark is my personal experience. I am about 70 and I'm working with 15 years younger colleague in the field of preparation, the European project, and it is very nice cooperation where I am the space for transfer my experiences or help her in English language knowledge in the form of translation, moderation, or advising or something like that. It's very, very nice cooperation. And in addition, one remark, what is official information from our news is that houses of seniors now in Slovakia have free places after the second wave of COVID-19 because the seniors previously having reservation there to be somewhere in the road to have the place there in the future, they cancel it from the reason to be afraid of isolation there, what is the impact after the second wave. And on the other hand, houses of seniors have not sufficient income for their fluent operation, that there is one part of the coin and second part of the coin. And there are the remarks from Slovakia. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for this special aspect that nobody else brought up. And what is the situation in Slovenia? Josica Puhar, floor is yours. Josica? Josica? I have seen her.
Josica.
Josica, where are you? Because I could see her on the screen.
Jožica is the name.
Jožica? Call her Josica. It looks like that she's not there. She's no more with us. She probably had to leave. So I wanted to ask.
She is with us. She is with us, but her microphone is not switched on.
I see. Thank you, Dirk.
Okay. I wanted to say happy birthday to Rosemary. I have here some flowers. And also congratulations. And also to Radi for 3 months ago, but the same. Thank you. Excuse me for this interruption. I was perhaps moving something with my flowers, so I was mute. To go to the topic, first I would like to mention that by talking about the Green Book from the European Commission, our organization first said that if we want to promote lifelong course with this aim for active and healthy aging, we must bring this topic to the schools at the very beginning of the education. In spite of, we are sure that the first patterns of the relations among generations is given in the family. It's only for the beginning, some as a remark, You know that I'm working more on the level of organization, so also my short report will be of this kind. 3 years ago, we established an intergenerational coalition in our organization, which includes student organizations and youth council of the Republic of Slovenia, in addition to us seniors. It works very well. We have many common points of the issues we address. We support each other in the demands we make on the government and parliament, and we organize the necessary meetings. We also take care of informing a wider circle of people and raising awareness of the importance of intergenerational coexistence. In 2018, a 3-day meeting with a series of roundtables was organized, which, from a professional point of view, addressed current topics of both generations as well as other age groups. During the pandemic, it happens virtually. Just next week, we have an online day of intergenerational coexistence, which will deal with the problems further revealed by the epidemic. Young people in Slovenia spontaneously got involved in all forms of help provided of our older volunteers that were organized in the terrain, in the communities, in the settlements, and so on. But not only spontaneous, they also organized their own campaigns. In the terms of lockdown, they regularly delivered food, medicine, and other necessary goods, literally door to the door. They help maintain contact with those who live alone at home, and also with care recipients in nursing homes, using the internet, email, smartphones, and other digital connections. They stage musical and singing performances in front of nursing homes and on the balconies of their apartments in urban neighborhoods. We seniors also helped younger people, especially by supporting their demands to the government to improve the economic situation, schooling and study opportunities during restrictive measures, and by presenting a number of their specific challenges to the authorities or decision makers. We saw that young people, students, were the most neglected social group during the epidemic situation, when the government helped other groups with some assistance, with some finances, and so on. Given the many consequences of the epidemic on the psychological condition, older people and also young generations, we are jointly involved in various forms of psychosocial assistance provided by professional institutions with the participation of volunteers. We know that volunteers cannot make some great professional assistance, but they can be there, they can help and help with small things and also with making company to the people talking and giving them the opportunity to be alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jessica. It's absolutely amazing, you know, how much have been going on in Slovenia during pandemic on this, on the basis of intergenerational solidarity. So, we are coming to, I guess, the last participant of our Zoom meeting, and it is Ukraine. Galina Polyakova.
Thank you. I'm happy to see my dear friends. Of course, first of all, my congratulations and very warm wishes to Rosemary. I admire her very much, and I wish you, dear Rosemary, to be as wonderful as you are. And of course, my words of support and compassion to Razi. We understand what do people feel now in Israel. Actually, in our country, COVID is everywhere, and it has stopped so many types of activity. And of course, we cannot gather other people together, and we cannot work with them directly, because all our 1,500 volunteers are old people themselves. So we have to restrict these activities. But older people need our support, especially those who are lonely, who are vulnerable, and who have difficulties in movement. Especially people are suffering who live close to the contact line in Donbass, in the villages. And so we had to provide support to those people who have problems with mobility and who live in the rural area. So we had to provide food, hygiene and sanitation products to these people. Can you see now? No. Can you see the photo?
Yes. There is a picture, yeah.
So this stuff was delivered to every home, because, you know, these people cannot come to any point and receive the products. Our volunteers who are age 65 plus could not do that, so we had to interact young people, young volunteers, to do this job. So it was cold, it was difficult, and it was heavy. We also tried to make use of this of people being isolated at home. And so we developed the programs for the families so that younger people could talk to their older relatives and learn from them. And this is an example of the so-called family history. Can you see the photo? Quite often younger people, children, know so little about their grannies, about their grandfathers, grandmothers. And so we have a project when we just recommend and help older people and younger people in one family to hear each other and to make the so-called family histories. It proved to be very useful and very interesting for both sides.
She's probably locked up because Marieke has only ordered for 12.
Alina? Now, I am I'm not absolutely.
Dana, you need me?
No, we lost connection with Galina.
Ok, no problem. Bon, pardon, parce que je suis en train de...
Anna, we are going a bit over time.
I know, but I wanted to give a chance to Galina to finish her talk.
Sorry.
Galina is coming back.
Sorry, this is a technical problem. So we do our best to continue this activity. Now we are preparing another convoy, and so it's about 15 tons more of food and sanitation hygiene products and even commodes. So we're continuing our work. So hope that the situation will improve quite soon. So we hope. And as Razi said, I share his indignation about the banks. I believe, I hope that we shall come back to the point of banks and older people relationships. It's very interesting and very up-to-date problem. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Galina. And now I would like to go back to Dirk. I thank you actually to all of you for your presentations to the topic about intergenerational solidarity during pandemic. And because we are a little bit, over the time, so I would like to go back to Dirk and ask him kindly to conclude our video conference.
Thank you, Dana. No real conclusions, but only we touched on a topic today which is essential for the cohesion of society and for the interrelationship between people, between persons. And we as older persons have to show to the younger ones how society functions and invite them to contribute actively to its improvement and to achieve perhaps what we in our generation have not yet fully achieved. We made efforts, but it is to the generations to come to finish work on the quality of interrelations between persons and of the society at large. Thank you very much for all these different views and aspects of the issue which we raised. I would like to thank Monique for having arranged this session as usual, and she will circulate the recording of the meeting. And that will be shared by Dana, I guess, again, like in the past. I would like to thank Dana for the excellent work also under difficult circumstances to keep the time. We went a little bit over time, but that is not really a problem because you all stayed with us, and that is very good. My deep thanks to everybody. Everybody committed to our exchange, to communicate, and to enrich ourselves mutually. In particular, I would like to mention a remark from Josica, because she was a little bit quicker than I could be, and she mentioned the green paper. Don't forget the green paper. It was circulated by Dana, and take the opportunity to contribute to it, because everybody is asked to make a contribution, to comment, to give ideas, etc., because that will be the basis of the work of the Commission of the European Union in the field of aging policies. And then I would like, obviously, to thank for the invitation of Rosemary to come to the Karl Franzens University. That's the proper name as far as I can remember, the Karl Franzen University in Graz. And it would be a great, great pleasure to be there for that next anniversary of EURAG. And if Gabor, with all his efforts in Hungary, is successful to chase the pandemic and to make that invitation happen, thank you very much indeed for that too. Be careful with yourself, be careful with the younger ones, be careful with your families, stay healthy, all of you and your families, and watch how society evolves in the future. We meet again in less than a month, on the 4th of June, for our next meeting, and that will be the Zoom meeting number 11. I'm happy to have the opportunity to welcome you again at the 4th of June. Thanks to everybody and goodbye. Bye-bye.
Thanks to you. Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.